Excuse me, do you know the way to the retro handheld store? No? Oh, okay. Never mind. Of all the creators in the retro emulation community that also make hiking and camping content, I am definitely one of the two of them, me and this guy. And interestingly, we're both Canadian. I'm not saying that Canada is a magical wonderland with beautiful nature and burly men who venture out into the wilderness so they can film themselves by lakes and talk about emulation, but I'm not saying that either. When I considered starting a YouTube channel, tech was just one of the things that I thought about doing. I have lots of other hobbies that were potential channel topics. I settled on TechDweeb, but who knows? Maybe if the stars aligned different, I would have been Art Dweeb, or Dice Dweeb, or Pillow Fort Dweeb. But the most likely option if I didn't do tech would have been hiking and camping. Yeah, that's right. I could have been CampDweeb, which isn't just a great name for a summer camp for dweebs that I totally wish was real and would attend, but it's something I seriously thought about doing. An outdoorsy style hiking and camping channel. I used to camp a lot more than I do now. Back in like 2017 and 2018, I would go at least once a month and several times throughout the year, I would do a longer trip for like 3 or 4 days and nights. And one thing that's on my bucket list is to hike a really long trail like the Appalachian Trail. I'm definitely going to do that someday. And who knows, maybe I'll bring you along for the ride if I do. But these days, when I go hiking and camping, I really use it as a chance to unplug and spend a bit of time away from the tech. I spend so much time filming videos and writing scripts and showing stuff on camera and editing my videos, so my camps are like a mini vacation where I don't need to constantly think about content. It's one of the rare times I don't work, so that's just why I don't make that much hiking and camping content, because I don't want to turn my break from work into work. However, sometimes I can't help myself. I just went on a trip and I filmed a few things thinking I might show some B-roll in a video or something, but I ended up filming a good amount and eventually I was like, okay, fine, I guess I'm making a video. I wasn't intending to film a video, so I didn't bring any actual filming stuff, so this footage you'll see today is just taken with my cell phone, which isn't even that good, so I'm sorry for the quality here. Also, my phone needed to last 2 days, and I didn't bring any extra power, which is usually fine because I don't actually use my phone much when I hike. I like to use physical maps and use the trip as a chance to unplug from the internet, so I usually just turn my phone off and only use it if I need to. However, as I filmed here, I realized I was chewing through a good bit of my battery, so I couldn't film a ton. What you're seeing here is a few shots as I hiked in the park. This is a provincial park here in Ontario where you have to hike into your site, and it was such a nice hike in. Usually by this time of the year, the leaves have fully changed, but this is a weird year. I guess it's climate change or whatever. But the leaves were only about halfway along, and it was just lovely. I even saw a fluff, as Mr. Sujano would say. Let me get right close to it too. That was neat. Being out in the woods is like therapy for me. I think of it as ADHD Draino for my clogged brain. It flushes out all my jumbled thoughts and it sets me right every time. This is a 2-night camp and my first campsite was on this lovely small lake. This is the only campsite on this lake, so I basically had this lake to myself except for a very noisy beaver who kept slapping his tail in the night just so that I knew that this was actually his lake and he wasn't impressed that I was there trespassing. The Ontario parks have these bear boxes to keep your food in. I've never seen a bear. I don't have a gun or bear spray or any crap like that. I know what to do with bears. That's the best defense that I have, but the worst case scenario is I get eaten by a bear. And you know what? That's at least an interesting way to go, so I'll take it. I can just picture the emulation community after I take my exit. Oh, did you hear? TechDweeb got eaten by a bear. Oh yeah, that's super sad. I'm gonna miss that guy. Yeah, being eaten by a bear is a pretty cool way to go though. Yeah, so cool. Just like TechDweeb. One problem with this site is that there actually aren't a ton of good hammock trees. There are some that seem promising, but they were super sappy and I didn't want to get my tree straps all gunked up. So this is eventually what I settled on. It's really nice. I'm at the top of a hill and I have all my stuff all set up and ready to rock. The sun is already starting to make its way down. The shadows are getting long, so I'm gonna settle in and make some food and wait for the sun to set. And play some games on my Miyoo Mini, of course. Anyways, let's do a tour of my stuff. This is my backpack. This is the Gossamer Gear Kumo backpack. This is my favorite backpack. They don't make this one like this anymore. They changed the design, which is a shame because I like their older version better. I'm glad I have this one though. This is an ultralight frameless backpack, so it's made just to be super lightweight. Not much by way of comfort, so you need to pack light if you're gonna be taking a bag like this. This is a hammock. It's sort of like a big thin bandana kind of thing. I'll use this as like a little blanket or even use it to cover my face at night if it's a chilly night. Sort of creates a cocoon of warmth with this draped over my face. Over here I have my knife. This is the Mora Companion HD knife. I don't usually bring a big knife, but it's a kind of rugged place and I figured I might need this to baton some firewood or whatever. Probably didn't even need to bring this, to be honest. And there's my spoon. A big titanium spoon. My pack has this little cushion pad that's part of the backpack, and sometimes I will put this into my hammock and use it as my bum rest under my bum, which I did end up doing because it was colder than I thought it would be. And in a hammock, when it gets cold, your bum is the part of you that suffers most. So I'm glad I had that. Here's my trekking pole. This is a carbon cork trekking pole, also by Gossamer Gear. I only carry one, and this thing is crazy light. It's about 4 ounces. Let's do the hammock now. So my tree straps, these I made myself. These are made with what they call mule tape. It's a crazy strong but crazy light kind of towing line. And this is a special knot that I use for tying my hammock. Oh, that could be fun. Maybe I'll show you how to do hammock knots someday. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that. I can do a whole freaking tutorial on hammock knots. There's a whole bunch of different ones that are really useful for hammocks. And here's my bed. My sweater's on the end there. That's the Melanzana Grid Fleece Hoodie. That's my favorite camping sweater. And this ridge line here is made with a material called Zingit. It is super crazy strong. NASA science kind of strong. And there's my other tree strap over there. And now the hammock itself. This is the Eagle's Nest Outfitters Sub 7 hammock. It's super light. It's called the Sub 7 because it weighs less than 7 ounces. It does not have a bug net. I actually have a homemade bug net down there. That orange pouch there. I made that myself. It's like a mini bug net that just covers my top half. And I'll usually only set that up if I need to. But I definitely won't need that for this trip. I haven't seen a single mosquito or anything. I'm pretty sure they're done for the year. I also have a rain fly, that little gray pouch, and I'm not going to bother setting that up either because I don't think it's going to rain tonight. They say it's a 7% chance of rain, so it's a bit of a gamble. The rule of rain is if you set up your rain fly, it's not going to rain, and if you don't set it up, it will. So that's probably what's going to happen. For keeping warm, I have an underquilt. This is a hammock gear underquilt. It's only a 3/4 length underquilt to make it more lightweight, so it doesn't keep my feet warm. So for that, I have a strategy that I'll show you here. I have this little fold-up sit pad, and I'll actually put this inside my top quilt in the foot area and use this like a little pad to rest my feet on. And that's actually enough. It keeps my feet warm. Hammocks are a little bit weird for keeping warm. You gotta do all these little weird tricks. This here is my top quilt, also hammock gear. I'll try to find some links to all this stuff and put it in the thingy below. These quilts are actually custom made. It's a cottage company in the States, and they make these to your specifications, and you can even pick your colors. I went with gray and orange for my top quilt and woodland camo for my underquilt. And I also have this tiny little pillow, also by Hammock Gear. You don't need a big pillow when you're in a hammock because the hammock itself acts as a headrest. You just kind of need a little something extra to rest your head on. And let's go through all this stuff now. This here is my tarp. This is a hex tarp and it's Dyneema composite material, also made by Hammock Gear. It's amazing and it's crazy light. You would not believe how light this is. It weighs like 5 ounces. It feels like you're holding air in a grocery bag or something, but it's $450. That's the downside. This here is my water kit. It's a Sawyer squeeze filter in there and a platypus bottle to hold my clean water. Maybe I'll show you how this works in video someday. Let me know if you want to see that. This is what I call my bits and bobs bag. I showed everything in here in my previous camping video. I went through the whole bag, so go watch that video if you want to know what's in here. And this here is my keeping warm kit. So it's fall. It's warm enough right now during the day, but it's going to get chilly tonight. It's going to go down to like 3 degrees Celsius, which is 37 degrees Fahrenheit. I only bring this in cold weather. It's got like a toque and some gloves and some extra wind clothes and socks and a buff. Just that stuff you'll be glad to have when it gets chilly, but all very lightweight. This is a bag with some toilet paper and wet wipes, which is for, I don't need to explain what Never mind. Got my water bottle. This is an Arto Life water bottle. It cost me $1. I've had this for years. I keep it because I like the artwork on it, and also the top threading on this bottle matches my Sawyer squeeze system, so I can use this to back flush my water filter if I need to. And I decided to treat myself to some liquid flavor enhancer in there. Pink lemonade. Ooh la la. This is my rain gear. I don't know why I brought this, to be honest. I probably shouldn't have. I didn't need it. This is a Frog Togs rain poncho. It's part of my 3-season gear, so I just bring it by default. It's just a super lightweight poncho that can also act as a tarp if you need it to. For food, here is my cook kit. And I'm not going to bother taking this apart. I've shown this to you in this video, so go watch that if you want the grand tour. It's a little alcohol stove and a little pot and a windscreen, and I use this to boil water, which I use to rehydrate my camping meals, which I have in here, in my food bag. What even is this? I don't remember. It's Backpacker's Pantry. Looks like Kathmandu style curry. Oh man, that sounds good. I've also got some pitas and some instant mashed potatoes and some oatmeal and some candy and some trail mix, obviously. This is 2 days worth of food, but I always bring too much food. I'll probably only end up eating like half of this. Didn't want to be hungry though. So yeah, that's it. That's my gear. That's everything that I brought on this trip. 2 nights in the woods with lots of hiking. I hiked for 3 hours to get in here tonight, and I have about 6 hours of hiking to get to my spot tomorrow, which is why I like traveling light. Light but cozy. Just enough comforts not to wish that I didn't come, basically. And this video was kind of impromptu. I didn't intend to film, so I don't have my actual camera or tripod or anything like that. Just me on my little solo camp, and I figured why not give you a tour of my stuff and maybe film some footage of me hiking and maybe playing some games. Oh right, that's one piece of gear I didn't show you yet. I brought my Miyoo Mini. Gonna be playing with that tonight for sure. And I know I'm going to get people who are like, you're camping, why do you bring games? But I have a good reason that I like to bring a handheld when I go out in the woods. I explained it in this video, so go watch that if you want to hear me blab about that topic. The short version is, I don't like play games all dang day or anything. Just a little bit to help me unwind during downtime, and I mostly play after dark when there's not anything better to do. The sun sets at like 6:15 right now, so I have a lot of free time between sunset and sleep time. I ended up playing games for over an hour after I settled down for the night, probably closer to 2 hours. I was playing Zombies Ate My Neighbors. That's the Dusty Game Society game of the month, so I put in some time on that. I also started a new game of Dragon Warrior, which is something I've been doing while camping. I did this last year and the year before, and I kind of love just playing Dragon Warrior while I'm camping. I think it's also because it's a nostalgic game for me, and it always takes me back to the good old days. And also, I did camp a lot when I was a kid, all summer long. Sometimes I'd go visit my grandpa for a week in the summer, and I'd bring my camp stuff, and I'd just sleep in the woods behind his house. He probably thought I was a weird kid, and I was. I still am, actually. Oh, and it did end up raining, actually, right before it got dark. Only for a little bit, but I did put up my rain fly, so you can see that here. This is that Hammock Gear Dyneema Composite Fabric Hex Tarp. I hunkered down under that, and I just left it up for the night. And then once the rain stopped, I had a nice big lovely warm campfire. I don't always have a fire, but when I do, I like to make sure there's a beaver nearby to be pissed off that I'm intruding on his lake with my human campfire smells. I didn't really film much on the second day because I kind of killed my battery on the first day and I was running out of storage, so here's a misty lake in the morning and a morning campfire. Anyone who camps in Ontario probably knows this fire pit well. All the campsites here have this same fire pit. Here's a little B-roll of me boiling some water in my alcohol stove. This is the Fancy Feast alcohol stove, a legendary little stove in the backpacking world. I have other stoves that I like that are lighter, but none of them beat this thing when it comes to boiling water, especially in cold weather. I spent so much time in the woods when I was a kid. In addition to the dweeb, one of my nicknames the other kids gave me was Nature Boy, because I was always doing something naturey. Digging in the dirt, turning over rocks to find cool bugs, catching frogs and crayfish, building squirrel forts for the squirrels. That's one of the reasons I think I love the woods so much. It just feels like home to me, which is weird because I'm away from home. But I mean, like, to be in this place without other people and tech and conveniences and distractions, it's weird, but I feel like it's simple. You got simple problems and solutions out here. It's cold, you bundle up. It's raining, you hunker down. It's windy, you find a place where the wind doesn't get to you. There's a pack of wolves closing in on you, you climb a tree and spend the night there, I guess. That's the kind of problems and solutions that just kind of put the rest of my life in perspective, you know? When I'm away from all those comforts and actually have to do stuff to solve my problems, it makes me slightly less of a wimp in real life when real life problems come along. And I can use as much help as I can with that because I am seriously wimpy. Anyways, I'm probably rambling and I've reused my B-roll too many times in this video already, so let's call it done here. I hope you enjoyed this. Sorry again about the video quality. I'll come up with something better for the next one. Let me know what you'd like to see in future outdoorsy videos. I think maybe a winter camping video would be fun, or I can show you some of my other gear. Just let me know what you want to see in the comments. And also click the thumbs up button if you like the video, and subscribe if you haven't yet. For some dumb reason. That'll do it for me for today. I'm TechDweeb, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.